hear that?
Yeah.
Mark Burns, yeah.
Mark's thinking get some more people for my show. You elected Bruce.
I love how during the election, Alyssa, during the election, remember on his show with us, and Mark Burns goes, you know, Mr. Trump watches RSBN. And he was talking about
He was like our biggest promoter.
All right.
That's so good.
Come on, Maggie.
Go on.
Maybe go live with dogs running around.
Go on now. Come on. Go. Come on.
Okay.
Bye-bye, Maggie. Do you like Bruce?
So it's live on YouTube. It's
Okay.
just on standby.
I'll be right out here. Oh.
Hey everyone, welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network. I'm Alyssa Ashe, and sorry for the delay there. We were working out some technical problems, but I am going to kind of analyze the Cohen-Trump tape for you guys that was just released last night for CNN, and also tell you why it is a big nothing and why the things that were said really have no legal implications at all. So first, I'm going to go through that transcript with you guys and show it to you while I'm going through it. So let me get that pulled up real quick. And I hope you all are having a fantastic day so far. Thank you so much for joining. It's so good to have you guys in the chat room. I see one of our sponsors, well, a couple actually, Mark McKinley and Happy Camper. Thank you again for joining. So I'm going to switch over real quick. And show you guys that transcript and read it to you as well, and then we'll dig in a little bit more just to learn more about it. And remember, if you have any articles about this hot topic that you would like to share with me, or maybe something that I haven't seen, haven't brought up yet, please message them to me on Twitter at Alyssa RSBN. I have my Twitter pulled up as well, so you will be able to see that. So here is the full transcript, and you can see President Trump saying, good, let me know what's happening. Okay, maybe because of this, it would be better if you didn't go, maybe because of this, for that one, I think what you should do is get rid of this because it's so false what they're saying. It's such BS. And I think he was on the phone at the moment, and he said, I think this goes away quickly. I think it's probably better to do the Charleston thing just this time. Yeah, in 2 weeks, it's fine. I think right now it's better, Okay, honey, you take care of yourself. Thanks, babe. Yep, I'm proud of you. So long, bye. And then what's happening? And Cohen said, great poll, by the way, who, as you know, was his former lawyer. And President Trump said, yeah. And Cohen said, seen it, great poll. And President Trump said, making progress. Cohen said, big time. And President Trump said, and your guy is a good guy. He's a good. And Cohen said, who? Pastor Scott. Trump said, can't believe this. No. Pastor Scott, what? What's happening? Cohen said, no. And President Trump said, can't we use him anymore? Cohen said, oh yeah, 100. No, you're talking about Mark Burns. We've told him to. And then you can't really make out what was said next. And then Trump said, I don't need that. Mark Burns, are we using him? Cohen said, no. And then someone said, Richard, and you couldn't tell what she said. It was unintelligible. I'm sorry, Richard just called. he just, when you have a chance, he had an idea for you. And President Trump said, okay, great. Cohen said, so we got served from the New York Times. I told you this, we were, and President Trump said, to what? Cohen said, to unseal the divorce papers with Ivana. We're fighting for it. Kasowitz is going to, and President Trump said they should never be able to get that. Cohen said, never, never. Kasowitz doesn't think they'll ever be able to. They don't have a, and President Trump said, get me a Coke, please. And Cohen said, they don't have a legitimate purpose, so, and Trump said, and you have a woman that doesn't want this. Cohen said, correct. President Trump said, who you've been handling. Cohen said, correct. And President Trump said, and it's been going on for a while. Cohen said, about 2-3 weeks now. And President Trump said, all you've got to do is delay for, and Cohen said, even after that, it's not ever going to be open. There's no purpose for it. I told you about Charleston. I need to come up with a company for the transfer of all that info regarding our friend David, so that I'm going to do that right away. I've actually come up and I've spoken. And he did say that there was going to be a company. So let it be known, since there were companies to set up these payments, there would be a paper trail, no matter what, no matter how they were paying. They weren't just, going and blindly paying with cash in some discreet way.
You're allowed to play the tape.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
And don't forget to mention Marcus with RSBN.
Yes. And then Cohen said, even after that, it's not ever going to be open. There's no purpose for it. Told you about Charleston. I need to open up a company for the transfer of all that info regarding our friend David, so that I'm going to do that right away. I've actually come up and spoken. And President Trump said, give it to me and get me a, and then you can't hear what he's saying. And then Cohen said, and I've spoken to Alan Westenberg about how to set up the whole thing with, and President Trump said, so what do we got to pay for this? $150. And Cohen said, funding, yes, it's all this stuff. President Trump said, yeah, I was thinking about that. Cohen said, all this stuff because here you never know where that company, you never know what he's, and President Trump said maybe he gets hit by a truck. And Cohen said, correct, so I'm all over that, and I spoke to Alan about it when it comes time for the financing, which will be, and President Trump said, wait a sec, what financing? Cohen said, well, we'll have to pay him something, and President Trump said, but you couldn't hear what he said before, but then it was heard, pay with cash. So, since it is muddled, it's definitely not enough for any kind of charges against the president. He could have been saying, don't pay with cash. And then Cohen said, no, I got it. And President Trump said, check. And then the tape cuts off abruptly. So that's kind of the full transcript of that audio tape. And I can actually share that tape with you guys as well pretty soon. But first, we're going to kind of just break it down a little bit. So I actually have some information from an article from Law and Crime from Alora Nanos, who is actually a liberal lawyer. She does not like the president, but she agrees that this is just absolutely nothing. So she started off by saying that President Trump's alleged affair with Playboy model Karen McDougal is old news, and it broke last February. So over a year ago, it's nothing new, and now that stuff is, just coming out. The audio tape is just coming out, which is interesting that it was kind of held this long. And so according to Karen McDougal's account, the affair was 100% consensual, so no legal issues there. And the publisher for the National Enquirer, American Media Inc., actually paid her $150,000 for the rights to her story. And the chairman of the AMI, David Pecker, who's actually a longtime personal friend of President Trump, all reports indicated that the AMI actually bought the story, to bury it in the media to protect the president. So there could be a legal issue there if AMI used the money to help President Trump in the election and he did not report it. So switching back over real quick. So what is discussed? Cohen and President Trump talk about a payoff, a shell company, and their friend David, who is said to be David Pecker of the AMI, the chairman of the AMI. And now it may be disturbing that a presidential candidate is creating companies for the purpose of covering his philandering tracks, but it's most likely not illegal. In America, we have the right to contract, to enter into a voluntary agreement, and to buy someone's story or even their silence. So the law is also pretty liberal with acceptable activities in which a business can lawfully engage. And there are most likely thousands of attorney-client meetings every day discussing similar matters. So it's alarming that an attorney would secretly record a confidential conference with a client, but New York is a one-party state, so Cohen did have the right to do this. And Lanny Davis, who is actually Cohen's lawyer, suggested on Good Morning America with George Stephanopoulos that Cohen had specific reasons for taping the conversation and hinted they would be revealed in good time. So on the tape, even though it's kind of unclear, you can hear President Trump saying, "pay with cash," although Lanny Davis said only mobsters and drug dealers use cash. There's nothing illegal about using cash if the president, of course, did use cash. And President Trump's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, insists that Trump said, "don't pay with cash." And those who want to bring down Trump's presidency may want to hold off until they know the Cohen tape isn't just something of a Trojan horse. And if the tape doesn't prove that President Trump planned to purchase the McDougal story using his own funds, it may still be considered an unreported campaign loan, but even that's unclear, just given how little information there is in the recording. So, this recording's not that clear, doesn't show anything illegal, but yet, of course, like always, the mainstream media is just freaking out about it. It was all over the news last night and this morning as well, just as different people are responding to it. And so we wanted to give our take on it as well, which I will keep reiterating and saying to you guys that it is nothing and it is not a big deal. And also, I'm going to show you President Trump's tweets about it. So this was just this morning at 5:34 a.m. He said, "What kind of lawyer would tape a client? So sad. Is this the first? Never heard of it before. Why was the tape so abruptly terminated? Cut while I was presumably saying positive things. I hear there are other clients and many reporters that are taped. Can this be so? Too bad." And then I see one of our comments from one of our great moderators, Barbara Braley. She said, "Attorney-client no longer exists." And that's so just devastating because it definitely should. There should be that attorney-client privilege. That's one of the first things you're told, when you are meeting with your lawyer, is that everything that you say will be said in confidence, and they will protect that information. And obviously, Michael Cohen is, no longer protecting this information at all. And I have some quotes from him as well I'm going to share with you guys. But first, I want to get into a little bit more of the president's response. And this is from dailymail.co.uk. So like I just shared with you guys, the tweet that you just saw, President Trump said, what kind of lawyer would tape a client? So President Trump unloads on Michael Cohen after the recording shows the pair discussing campaign season payoff to bury the old affair with Karen McDougal. So kind of just to break down before I get into details, and much of this information you guys already know, but President Trump blasted his former attorney Michael Cohen for taping their September 2016 chat about the alleged extramarital affair. And President Trump tweeted what kind of lawyer would tape a client. And the tape aired on Tuesday shows Trump and Cohen discussing payment to buy story rights of a woman who said that she had slept with the then candidate. And the revelation was followed by claims that there are other recordings. And the FBI seized the audio when it raided Cohen's home, office, and hotel as part of a reported criminal bank fraud and campaign finance investigation. And Cohen lawyer Lanny Davis said that there are certainly more tapes, but President Trump's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, has already insisted that the president's voice is not on them. So President Trump lashed out today at his former personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, hours after this recording was leaked, showing the two men discussing the campaign season payout. And like I said, he tweeted what kind of lawyer would tape a client. So sad. Is this a first? Never heard of it before. And he also complained that the recording, first aired by CNN, which I will pull up and show you guys soon, appeared to end suddenly. And he said, why was the tape so abruptly terminated while I was presumably saying positive things? I hear there are other clients and many reporters that are taped. Can this be so too bad? And I see your comment. Jokes Explained, who said he probably said don't, but so what? Isn't it like anyone in the White House has ever taken cash for international charity fraud or openly sent billions to rogue states and laundered money? So it's all good. Thank you so much for that. Jokes Explained. And yes, British Patriot, I will play the audio. I know you want to hear the funny part when President Trump says, get me a Coke, please. So let me pull that up for you guys. And it's loading right now.
It is a big night here. I'm Chris Cuomo. Welcome to Primetime. We have one of the Michael Cohen tapes, the secret recording of President Trump back in 2016.
Okay, let me switch over real quick. And you guys should be able to hear this. And this is, of course, as you know, from CNN.
It is a big night here. I'm Chris Cuomo. Welcome to Primetime. We have one of the Michael Cohen tapes, the secret recording of President Trump back in 2016 made by Cohen, in which he and then candidate Trump discuss arrangements surrounding a payment to former Playboy playmate Karen McDougal that was made by a third party, David Pecker, as head of the National Enquirer. This all happened in the months before the election. Now, this is not a great quality recording, and that will be relevant to its analysis. So first I want to play you the entire recording, not all of which is relevant to the payment. So listen for yourself.
Let me know what's happening, okay? Oh. because of this, it would be better if you didn't go. You know, maybe because of this, for that one, you know, I think what you should do is get rid of this because it's so false what they're saying. It's such bullshit. I think this goes away quickly. I think it's probably better. Do the Charleston thing, just this time. Yeah, in 2 weeks it's fine. I think right now it's better. You know? Okay, honey. You take care of yourself. Thanks, Pam. Yep, I'm proud of you. So long. What's up, Mike?
Great poll, by the way.
Yeah.
Seen it. Great poll.
Making progress.
Big time.
And you guys are good guy.
Oh, Pastor
I
Scott?
can't believe this. No, Pastor Scott. What's happening?
Oh, no.
Can we use him anymore?
Oh, yeah. 100. No, you're talking about Mark Burns. We've told him to.
Well, I don't mean that. Mark Burns. Can we use him
No.
anymore?
No.
Richard Lefrak, I'm sorry, Richard Lefrak just called. He just had, we have a chance, he had an idea for you.
Okay. So we got served from the New York Times. I told you this regarding to unseal the divorce papers with Ivana. We're fighting it. Kasowitz is going
We should
to
never be able to get that done.
never. Kasowitz they'll ever be able. They don't have a.
Give me your coat, please.
They don't have a legitimate purpose.
And you
So
have a woman that doesn't want to see it.
correct.
So you've been handling it.
Yes, and it's all
It's been going on for a while.
for about 2-3 weeks now.
All you have to do is delay it for.
Even after that, it's not going to ever be opened. There's no purpose for it. Told you about Charleston. I need to open up a company for the transfer of all of that info regarding our friend David, you know, so that I'm going to do that right away. I've actually come up and I've spoken to Alan Weisselberg about how to set the whole thing up with
So what are we going to pay?
funding. Yes, and it's all the
Yeah, I was
stuff.
thinking about that.
All the stuff, because you know you never know where that company, you never know what he's going to
Maybe
be.
gets hit by it.
Correct. So I'm all over that, and I spoke to Alan about it when it comes time for the financing, which will be.
Listen, what financing?
We'll have to pay you. So
Don't pay for gas.
no. I got no. Hey, Bill, how are you?
All right, now, a couple of things. There are side conversations. I wanted you to hear everything that was on the recorded.
So there is the full recording you can hear. You just heard, and we think that he was actually talking to Pam Bondi, the Florida Attorney General, before he was talking with Cohen. So definitely interesting. I see some of your comments here, of course, like, you know, why were they pursuing this? A comment from, hold on one second, getting the audio ready, but a comment from my dad, Gregory Ashe. So Obama sends $1.8 billion to Iran and the FBI is pursuing this. And so Brett Saferight said, was he in a state where he could be reported? I'm guessing he was. He was, because he was in New York, which is a one-party state, as I mentioned earlier. And then I see your comment, SJ159. He sounds like he knows someone is going to hear this. And yes, Doris Daddy, they cut the recording at the end. And Swoosh for Trump said, curious how it gets cut off. Definitely. And I'm going to check the Facebook messages as well real quick, just to make sure you guys don't have any questions or comments over there. And hey to everyone watching on our website and on Twitter and Periscope as well. Hope you guys are doing well. Don't have any questions or Okay, sorry about that double audio real quick. Pulling this up real quick. Yes, Marie Delgado Travis said you can hear how nervous Cohen's voice is. Okay, and I will keep up with your comments on Facebook and on YouTube throughout the broadcast and read any that may be helpful. And like I said, you can also reach out to me on Twitter. Thank you, Webster Cal, for throwing my Twitter handle on there, and I will show it to you guys here on the screen as well. So it's at Alyssa RSBN, and I'll leave that for a second. So if you want to reach out to me on Twitter, you're definitely welcome. I love interacting with you guys. It's the heartbeat of what I do. It's such a blessing to be able to talk to you guys and really provide you with real news. Which is ironic. I know many of you are saying, well, you know, this is a big nothing. Why are you even reporting it? Just because it is important, and I still want to give you guys our perspective on it, that it is a big nothing, as we're saying, and that, you know, hopefully it'll end quickly and there won't be any legal implications or charges made against the president. And I see your comment, SJ159 said, yes, Cohen seems to be enunciating all his words, so he is heard better later. Thank you for that, SJ. And I want to go back to where I was before with you guys. So Cohen's lawyer, Lanny Davis, actually released the recording to CNN, which aired last night. And the audio recording, which was made by Cohen and is difficult to hear in times, comes after the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal reported on the existence of the recording last week. And all of this is from NBC. So the tape, if you're kind of wondering, you know, what was the timeline like? It was made 2 months before the election, and it appears to show Cohen, who was President Trump's personal attorney at the time, discussing how to set the whole thing up with funding. And at one point, President Trump appears to ask what financing and seems to pay with cash. And he appears to say, no, I got, before President Trump is heard saying or asking check, and then the recording just abruptly ends. And although the exact wording on the tape is unclear at times, it does make clear that President Trump was aware of the model's allegation of the affair and the plans to pay to ensure her silence. So if you're kind of wondering, you know, when did this happen? It was right before the election. The Journal actually reported on Friday that the conversation took place in September 2016, shortly after the election, and a month after American Media Inc., the publisher of the National Enquirer, had purchased the rights to ex-playmate Karen McDougal's story of the alleged extramarital affair 10 years earlier with the future president. And President Trump has denied the affair, but Davis's release of the audio recording to CNN suggests an aggressive move by Cohen, Trump's former fixer, who is now under federal investigation. And Davis actually said the recording shows President Trump discussing whether to pay hush money to McDougal, and suggested an interview that Cohen has more damaging information on Trump. So Cohen also made a payment shortly before the election of $130,000 to another woman, adult film actress Stormy Daniels, who alleged a past one-night affair with President Trump. And we just received a $199 donation from Debo. Thank you so much. And I forgot to thank you for your donation earlier in the stream. We wanted to mention it was really cool. On that tape, President Trump actually talked about Mark Burns, who is a pastor who actually had a show here with RSBN a couple years ago. And he was one of our biggest advocates. So if you're watching, Pastor Mark Burns, thank you so much for all that you've done for us. And how cool is it that you were just mentioned on national news? That is awesome. So in this recording that was aired by CNN, Cohen appears to say at one point, I need to open up a company for the transfer of all that info regarding our friend David, and they were referring to the chairman and chief executive of American Media Inc., David Pecker. And Pecker, who is a friend of President Trump, had paid McDougal for the rights to her story, but the Inquirer never published the article. A supermarket tabloid industry practice known as catch and kill, which is intended to bury a story by allowing no other media organization to have it. And on the tape, Trump and Cohen appear to talk about acquiring the rights to McDougal's story themselves in case something happens to Pecker, like being hit by a bus, which President Trump suggests on the tape. But it's believed that the president never made any payment to do so. And that's what his lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, is saying now as well, that he never even made the payment. So Davis said, and that would be Cohen's lawyer, Lanny Davis, Donald Trump said that when this discussion began, he publicly described the tape as the first time he knew about the McDougal situation. You can't listen to the tape without saying he knew exactly what Cohen was talking about. And we just received a $14.99 donation from Jesus is Lord. Thank you so much for that, Jesus is Lord 5454. Really appreciate you. You've been a loyal supporter from the beginning, and so it is such a blessing that you continually donate and help us out. So thank you so much. And in case maybe you're tuning in and you're new to RSBN, you're not really sure why I keep mentioning donations and kind of what's up with that. So just to give you guys a little bit of background, we are 100% donor funded here at RSBN, and we are a conservative, independent online news network, and we share with you guys real news in real time, soon after it comes out. And we actually also travel to political rallies all around the country, to President Trump's rallies, and they are an absolute blast. The next one we're going to is actually in just 6 days on Tuesday in Tampa, Florida, and so it's going to be so much fun. I'm so excited to go and blessed with the opportunity to be able to go. And as you can imagine, those rallies are really expensive, at least $5,000 each time, and goes up depending on when we knew about the rally, how far in advance we could book those tickets, and we usually don't have too much notice, and also how many crew members we send. And this time we are sending a full crew. We are sending 5 crew members, which will be really great. It's so good to just have all those, different personalities there. It's such a blessing. And anyways, so, if you're wondering, well, how can I help you guys get to those rallies? Thank you for asking. We really need your support to get to these rallies. We're not able to do it without you. And like I said, it is very expensive. And so there are different ways that you can donate. And I see one of our great moderators, Barbara Braley, commenting right here with our mailing address, which I will get to last. But first, one of the easiest ways you can donate, if you're watching right here on YouTube, you just click that $sign and you're able to donate through the super chat. And so your name will come up and, a fun message that you type to us, and I'll share it with the whole world as long as it's appropriate. Now, we do get to keep about 70% of that. YouTube keeps about 30%. So if you want to donate in another way where we get to keep most of your donation, I will show you guys how to do that from our website. So switching over real quick. And Maria Runkles just asked, when is the next rally? It is Tuesday, the 31st. So we will be heading out Monday to Tampa, Florida. So you just go to rsbnetwork.com and you can see this red bar right here. You click donate and it shows the different ways that you can do that. So one easy way is with PayPal or a credit card, where we are able to keep about 90% of those funds and they just keep 10%. And you can enter the amount right here and your debit or credit card information. And then of course your contact information. So super easy and secure way to donate. And also, you know, maybe you feel a little bit more invested in RSBN. You've been watching us for a while. You really like what you're seeing and you want to see more of us on a regular basis. All you have to do is click this second link and you're able to give a monthly donation. And this is from patreon.com, which is Patreon with an E. And you just click, just type in patreon.com/RSBN if you're getting to it separately from our website. And it is a really great platform where you can actually just click become a patron right here and it shows you the different ways. All the way from the entry level to the custom pledge. And yes, I saw your comment, Manning Luck, about the Senate meeting now. Sorry I wasn't able to get to you earlier on Twitter. I don't believe we actually have the access to stream that right now. I apologize for that. But definitely try to tune into both if you're able. So switching back, there is one final way that you can donate. If you are not comfortable donating online, we completely understand and respect that. And you can actually send a check directly to our P.O. box. So you just write the check out to RSBN. And then that's 1550 Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344 in Auburn, Alabama 36830. And so that is one way that you are able to donate. Super easy and secure. And like I said, you can just write the check out to RSBN. And it really is such a heartwarming way just for us to see all of your letters that come in. It really means a lot to see what we mean to you guys and also what else you would like to see of us in the future. Tips for improvement are always welcome. So switching back real quick. So from what I was sharing with you guys earlier, that NBC article, so Davis suggested on CNN that Trump's attorney, former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani, had earlier misinterpreted the recording, saying it was President Trump who insisted that they not use cash. But of course, you know, he was saying this because he is on Michael Cohen's side, of course, and, you know, not President Trump's. But it's really kind of hard to hear, but we think what he was saying was don't pay with cash. And then Cohen said, no, no, no. And then he said, check. So Giuliani provided his own transcript of the conversation to CNN in which it was indicated that Trump told Cohen, "Don't pay with cash, check." And he said in a statement on the CNN report, "The transcript that we provided CNN accurately reflects that taped conversation." And Alan Fuerfas, who is a lawyer for the Trump organization, said the use of the word cash did not mean paper money. When the word cash is used, it's in opposition to financing. He said, "It's like when you're buying a house and a person says, 'Are you going to get financing or are you paying with cash?' It's identical context. No one expects or understands you're showing up to the closing with green currency." And the recording was seized in April when the FBI raided Cohen's office and hotel rooms. The Times reported, citing lawyers and others familiar with the recording. And so Giuliani also told Fox News last night that the tape is a little hard to hear, but I assure you we've listened to it numerous times. And I see your comment, Barbara Braley. Are we covering Trump at the White House now? We are not. Nothing is available from the White House Gov official website. So I apologize for that. So also, Giuliani said in a phone interview with NBC News after the tape aired, the president clearly says not cash, and Cohen says no, and the president says check. It shows the president wanted it done in a way that was memorialized. And Giuliani said the big takeaway is Cohen taping a client, which is disastrous for a lawyer. You might as well forget being a lawyer. The second big takeaway is that it indicates there was nothing criminal about this because they decided to do it through a corporation and by check. And by the way, the transaction never occurs, Giuliani added. And yes, I see your comment on the British Patriot. I don't want to say it because I don't want to give it away, but I definitely will mention that tonight on the nightly recap. And as you know, I show you guys that tweet, and I'll show it to you again real quick. That President Trump said, "What kind of lawyer would tape a client? So sad. Is this a first? Never heard of it before. Why was the tape so abruptly terminated and cut while I was presumably saying positive things? I hear there are other clients and many reporters that are taped. Can this be so? Too bad." And of course, retaliating, Davis told NBC News, "Let's not forget what the big picture is and not get caught up in what Trump and Giuliani want us to do, which is get diverted by those very questions. The idiocy of cash doesn't mean money, or he meant something else other than cash. For example, this tape, you could say, is a discussion about hush money. It's a discussion about paying money to control adverse information that might come out before an election." And Davis said Cohen had decided, "No matter what happens to me, I'm going to get my life back by telling the truth." And Davis said Cohen is trying to reset his life as not being Donald Trump's bullet taker, or worse, a punching bag for Donald Trump's defense strategy where he takes the bullets. This is a turn for him. It's a new resolve to tell the truth no matter what, even if it endangers him. And Davis said he has more to tell. It's unclear the impact of that truth, but he has more to tell. And yes, I see your comment, Real Frank in Florida. Is it legal in NY to tape clients? I looked into that a little bit, and apparently it is because they are a one-party state. So they can tape clients even without their knowledge. And UTSB said Trump was trying to keep his private life private. And his former secretary, Michael Cohen, said he disclosed this year in federal court that his legal practice consisted of representing just 3 clients: President Trump, Fox News channel host Sean Hannity, and former Republican National Committee fundraiser Elliot Broidy. And on Saturday, the president claimed the idea of a lawyer taping a client was totally unheard of and perhaps illegal. And he added that the good news is your favorite president did nothing wrong. And I want to try to find that tweet for you guys if I can. It's back a little bit. Okay, I found that tweet from July 21st. I'm going to show you guys and share that with you real quick. He said, inconceivable that the government would break into a lawyer's office early in the morning, almost unheard of. Even more inconceivable that a lawyer would tape a client, totally unheard of and perhaps illegal. The good news is that your favorite president did nothing wrong. So you can see him just defending himself there and talking about the break-in to Michael Cohen's office. And backing up a little bit, I want to share with you guys just some of that original information that came out from CNN last night, and it was actually updated this morning. And for those of you that are just joining in, we are talking about the Trump-Cohen tapes and why they are a big nothing, kind of just going through what happened, but also talking about how there was nothing done, illegally, and also that President Trump's current lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, said that those payments were never even made. So as you know, he was a candidate at the time, President Trump, and he was heard on tape discussing with his attorney, Michael Cohen, how they would buy the rights to a Playboy model story about an alleged affair that he had with her years earlier, according to the audio recording of the conversation aired exclusively on CNN's Cuomo's Prime Time. So the recording offered the public a glimpse at the confidential discussions between Trump and Cohen, and it confirmed that President Trump had knowledge of a proposal to buy the rights to the story of Karen McDougal, a woman who has alleged she had an extramarital affair with President Trump about a decade ago. So Cohen told Trump about his plans to set up a company and finance the purchase of the rights from American Media Inc., which publishes the National Enquirer. And the recording captures what appears to just be, a regular routine business conversation of several matters on their agenda. And the audio is muddled And the meaning of Trump's use of the word cash is disputed by the two sides. And Cohen said, I need to open up a company for the transfer of all of that info regarding our friend David Pecker. Regarding our friend David, and this was likely in reference to the American media head David Pecker. So when financing comes up later in the conversation, President Trump interrupts Cohen asking what financing according to the recording. And when Cohen tells Trump we'll have to pay, Trump is heard saying paid with cash. But like I said, it's muddled, and so you can't tell, but we think that he was saying don't pay with cash, and that's what his lawyer Rudy Giuliani said as well. And Giuliani said there's no indication of any crime being committed on this tape. And this recording was made in September 2016, and it's the latest breakdown in the decade-long relationship between President Trump and Cohen, who once said he would take a bullet for the president, but of course his mindset has changed greatly now. And he's made it known in recent weeks that he is open to cooperating with U.S. prosecutors. So Davis said on Kumo Primetime, what's this about? This is about honesty versus false disparagement from Michael Cohen. Why is Giuliani out falsely disparaging Michael Cohen? Because they fear him. And then he said, what do they fear, Chris? Why am I representing him? They fear that he has the truth about Donald Trump. He will someday speak the truth about Donald Trump. The truth is that when Donald Trump said cash, which Rudy Giuliani knows that only drug dealers and mobsters talk about cash, it was, you heard Michael Cohen say what? No, which is not true. Cash is a totally fine, an acceptable way to pay. And Davis later added, ladies and gentlemen, if you voted for Trump, if you voted for Donald Trump, listen to the tape and ask yourself, is Donald Trump lying when he said he didn't use the word cash and accuses Michael Cohen of using the word cash? Cohen has been disparaged. Cohen has been insulted and called all sorts of things by people around Donald Trump. And Giuliani said, Giuliani and Alan Fuertes, who, as I said, is also a lawyer for the Trump organization, refuted the tape, shows that Trump was offering a cash payment. He refuted this, and Giuliani said on Fox News last night, there's no way the president is going to be setting up a corporation and then using cash unless you're a complete idiot. And he said this was leaked on us with a very, very scurrilous description of what was on the tape. And Futerfa said cash in the conversation was in reference to how a deal would be financed. And he also told CNN, whoever is telling Davis that cash in the conversation refers to the green currency is lying to him. There's no transaction done in green currency. It doesn't happen. The whole deal never happened. If it was going to happen, it would be a payment to a large company that would obviously be accompanied by an agreement of sale. Those documents would be prepared by lawyers on both sides. And he said the word cash came up in the context of the distinction between financing, which is referenced, and no financing, which means a full payment, a total one-time payment. And that's the context in which the word cash is used. And he said anyone who knows anything about the company or how the president does business knows there is no green cash. Everything is documented. Every penny is documented. And on the tape, Cohen says, I've spoken with Trump Organization Chief Financial Officer Alan Weisselberg about how to set up the whole thing with funding. And Futerfas declined to answer whether the payment would have been from the company or from Trump's personal finances. And he said Weisselberg wore two hats working for Trump and his company. I don't even know what Michael Cohen would have said to Alan Weisselberg, because all Alan does is bookkeeping and process requests for transactions that are given to him. And court filings said that federal prosecutors have actually obtained 12 audio recordings from the FBI raids on Cohen earlier this year. And it was previously reported that Trump's lawyers waived attorney-client privilege on the president's behalf regarding the recording involving him personally. And the audio recording of Trump and Cohen relates to whether Trump should buy the rights of the story from American media, which paid McDougal $150,000 in August 2016 for her story about the alleged 10-month affair she had with the president. But the story was never even published by AMI. And an attorney for AMI declined to comment Tuesday night. And a spokesman for the U.S. Attorney's Office in Manhattan, which is also investigating Cohen, declined to comment as well. So, like I said, and you can kind of, see and hear for yourself as I played the tape for you guys, there was nothing big about this at all. It's being blasted all over the mainstream media, but it is a big nothing, and hopefully they will drop it, but probably not, especially if more tapes are released in the future. We will just have to wait and see. But that's all I have for you guys today for this particular broadcast, and I hope that it was helpful for you. And please make sure to tune in tonight to my nightly news recap at 8 p.m. Central Time. I'm going to have just a great variety of stories, and that's going to be a lot of fun, and love, getting story tips from you guys as well. So if you have any throughout the day that you want me to mention tonight, please remember to send them to me on Twitter to @AlyssaRSBN. And I hope you guys all have a fantastic afternoon. Once again, for Right Side Broadcasting Network, I'm Alyssa Ashe.